Okay, we are live.
No. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير، غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير، غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. حسبنا الله لا إله إلا أنت، عليك توكلنا وأنت رب العرش العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم، والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. We have been studying the chapter Buruj, and we studied up to 17. In the previous verses, we studied that God is all knowing, all loving, and forgiving, and He does whatever He does anytime, constantly, with no hesitation. Everything is under His direct control, etc. We have all studied all these, and now the subject suddenly changed. Why? The matter became obvious. Everything is clear, must be clear for you too. And there were some people in history, although they experienced the reality of the truthfulness of this message, but they didn't listen to the message carefully. What they did, they destroyed themselves, and also the result is created by God. If a crime is committed in general, so the punishment will be applied, that common crime will be applied in common sense, but God always says we always save innocent people, because we have to pay attention that all the stories of the previous people in the Quran, they said they are destroyed by God's various ways of destroying their town, but God promises that He is not destroying the people who were loyal to the truth of the revelation, which means they were true to their own nature. So they don't really get harmed because of the sins of others. That is the Islamic, it is the teachings of the Quran that no one is going to be punished because of the mistake of another person. وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. It's a very famous ayat, and famous, but according to me, but it's a very important one. The meaning of this verse is no one is going to carry the burden of another one, another person's burden. Everybody is carrying their own burden. In fact, in our personal life, individual life, we experience that if I don't believe in God, if I don't submit my existence to an absolute being, then somebody else might have submitted their existence to the absolute being. They feel secure, they feel in peace, but it doesn't really give me the opportunity to share their feelings unless I pay attention to them. I share their feelings, their ideas, so that when I confirm them, I will share, I will join in their happy life or peaceful life. But if I don't listen to them, it doesn't affect. So if I don't believe, somebody else's belief doesn't help me either. So we have to read these stories of the previous people told in the Quran that they are destroyed completely. Their towns were destroyed by wind and or another way. So the thunder storm attacked them, and earthquake came, or flood came, etc., etc. We know that this is a physical description of what is going on in one's heart, in one's feelings. So we can read these stories in two ways. Physically, they are presented to us in physical form, although the Quran doesn't require us go and confirm their destruction, how they were destroyed, because we cannot investigate them. We don't know what the Quran is talking about. Only mentions a name. Here it is. Junud, Fir'aun, Thamud. Who are they? I don't know. I hear from the Quran or from Torah as well, Fir'aun, not much from Torah about Thamud, and also about Junud. Junud means the armies. Story of the armies. Which army? Where? When? And even, I go investigate them. I go and investigate them, see some ruins of ancient people. I don't know whether they were really destroyed by God or for a punishment, or just as some things happens in our life. For example, tsunami happens in our life, and it doesn't mean that God is punishing people, because we know that in this kind of creation, without any discrimination, everybody who is subject to this event, they call it natural disaster in quote unquote, it means the creation. God is teaching to human beings in general, and we know that we cannot guarantee our life here. Anyways, at the end, we are going to die. That is a reminder for us, and there is a wisdom in its creation. But the destroying the certain tribes because of the rebel, try to kill the prophets, rebel the prophet. They insist that they should shut the prophets up. They don't let them convey the message to innocent people, so that God says they are going to be destroyed. Living prophets, while the prophets are living with them, they commit the crime of stopping the message of the prophets according to teachings of the Quran, and they are destroyed. What does it mean for us now? Those people are destroyed, okay. After the advent of the Prophet Muhammad, the messenger of God, he is called the Prophet of Mercy, Rahmatan lil Alameen. He is the mercy for all nations, all world. Then God promises that I have sent you as mercy to the all people. There will be no physical destruction. So we are not going to be destroyed because we don't listen to the prophet. We do, some people don't. That's their choices. But the point in teaching this kind of scenarios, sometimes terrible scenarios, frightening scenarios, is completely different. The purpose is completely different. For us now, it means we have to take these scenarios into our heart and see the destruction, how the destruction is happening within our own heart if we don't pay attention to the prophets, as if our life is completely destroyed, but we are punished within ourselves. So these scenarios are presented to us not in order to avoid the physical destruction, but in order to avoid the psychological, or if you like, spiritual destruction within ourselves. But we have to take lesson from these examples in terms of our life conditions. We have to be careful in terms of our life conditions and try to see the justification of the disturbance within our own hearts when we don't attach ourselves or attribute our existence to an absolute being. What is happening? I may seem to be happy from outside, but from inside, I must be full of worries about my future. When I'm young, I will notice. I wasn't noticing that much, but as I am getting closer, I start saying, really, this reminder really is for me. Yes, I know if I don't pay attention to the message, I cannot escape from it anymore. That's why what most of the people do, they really assume or pick up a habit to keep themselves busy in order to avoid facing the reality of their own psychological status. Why? Because they cannot really think that the time's passing, they are getting near to death, and they cannot really secure their life in any way if they don't believe, of course, if they don't believe. Secure anyway, they have to keep themselves busy with something else. It means escape from their reality. That's why they may manage a little bit with your life, with their life, by thinking that now I am enjoying my day at least, but still the hidden pain, hidden grief in their heart hurts them. You can try this for yourself. Once, just for a temporary period, very temporary period, try to experience that if there was no God, if there was no purpose, if there was no meaning in existence, how would you feel it? Just see yourself, how your feelings will experience, what your feelings will experience. Just check yourself. I do most of the time. It is horrible. It is unbearable for me. That's my experience. You can try for yourself because it needs consciousness. But if you keep yourself busy, you may not feel it temporarily. It's just temporarily release. But whenever you come to your own reality, think about it, you experience it. So we should not really read those stories telling the horrible results of those people who were stricken by God because of their their crime against the prophets, these scenarios are not really within our interest. How did they happen? Why God does them? No. Our interest is very simple. If I reject the prophet, openly declaring the truth to me, reality to me, and if I just follow my egoistic desires, caprices, and try to shut this message up so that I will be comfortable in my worldly life, is it possible? Try that. So some people say Quran is full of description of destruction, anger, angry God is everywhere. Of course, there are more loving news in the Quran demonstrating that God is compassionate, His mercy encompasses everything, even in His destruction. He is merciful because it is a wake-up call for the people. Come on, be careful. God's warning is coming to reality. It will happen to you. Come on, be careful, so that they will understand. Just to sit and think about their reality, whatever they are doing is true or not. Can they save the inner punishment of denial, rejecting the truth? Can they save themselves from the inner disturbance of rejecting the truth and saying that, no, just I will enjoy myself and go into non-existence after I die? But human feelings do not allow to feel comfort in this interpretation, because human feelings want happiness, never-ending, permanent happiness. That's how we are created, how we are endowed with these feelings. We are equipped with these feelings in order to realize that I cannot live in this world with this consciousness, with this awareness, to live until I die and enjoy my life. It is impossible. That's why as the people get closer to their reality, everybody gets old, they age. As they get closer to their reality that death is inevitable, sometimes they cannot manage their life. Sometimes they just try to keep themselves busy with something else so that they will not think about their reality in order to escape from it. So all the stories of destruction of the previous people who rejected the prophets, tried to expel them, tried to kill them, shut them up, force them to stop, etc., are told for us to understand how horrible it is to deny the reality. So after presenting how God is operating in the world, so the Quran suddenly comes to give us a physical example of it. So we can say, yeah, these people, whoever they are, doesn't matter, who are called the armies, and this story of armies, the news of armies, and Pharaoh, and Thamud, the certain physical people mentioned here, these people suffered from it in this story. Is it really possible? If you don't really accept the truth and accept that you are created, you are given certain purposes for your life, and very meaningful, everything is created, you have to decipher these meanings and attribute it to your own feelings and try to understand what your existence means for you. Think about it. And if you find out that, yes, if I go against this reality, I cannot escape from being destroyed within myself, by myself. Another principle that the Quran teaches us, God never, ever wrongs people and harms people, transgresses their right of existence, transgresses their right of life. What does it mean? Although this right is given to us by God, He said, I gave you, I am not going to take it away from it, but only you can deny it, and you can take an attitude to reject your reality, so you harm yourself. I don't harm myself. I don't harm you. You harm yourself. That is why if we really think about ourselves, if I believe in God, I will feel comfortable within my own existence. It will be according to the nature of my own human feelings. So I will be not experiencing the contradiction within myself. I want to be happy forever, but no, it is impossible. Why? God gives in the Quran gives a very simple example. Don't you think that the one that is very important, doesn't say God, the one who gave you this existence won't be able to give you an eternal happiness? It is the one who gave you the feelings which really craves for eternal happiness. Do you think the one who creates this feeling cannot give you a life, a life experience that this feeling will be satisfied? Who created you from the very beginning? The Quran's argument is very simple, very clear. The one who created you from the beginning is the one who is going to create you according to the desires that you cannot satisfy here in other life. How can He do it? Don't you know that you are already existing? The simple example, simple rational argument we can find in the Quran. So we have to understand that God is not an angry God. To me, God is so compassionate that He warns us seriously not to take the risk of falling into a mistake. Just take it seriously. Think about it. Can it be really true? Just think yourself. I believe that, for example, the Thamud example, Firaun example, it is interesting. You can understand in two ways. I think everybody is familiar with the Pharaoh's example. He wanted to destroy the followers of the Prophet. And the followers of the Prophet left his country, left them alone, just wanted to go somewhere else, live their own life. He didn't want them to go, and he wanted to keep them under his aggressive administration and keep them as the slaves of his own nation. And the Egyptians, well, the children of Israel were foreigners there. I mean, that's the history. In the history, it doesn't matter, but that's what we have to understand. They wanted the immigrants to be slaves. You can see some examples. So that's why they didn't want to let them go. And chased with an army Musa's people and followers. What happened in the story of the Quran? The sea let the army, let Musa's people, the followers of the believers of the Prophet, followers of Musa, let them go. But the same sea, but it is important, the same sea got the army under it, and they were sunk, and they were completely destroyed. Now we understand the metaphorical teaching there. The same water saves the followers of the Prophet. The same water saves the followers of the Prophet, but the same water destroys the unbelievers or rejectors. It means in the Quran, usually the water is represented and likened to rain coming from the sky. It means from high and giving life to living beings. And it is always taught in the Quran as a parallel to revelation coming from the heavens and from God. Rain comes from it, gives life to physical beings. Revelation comes down and gives life to heart, human spirit. So how the spirit is saved? By the same message. By the same message. If you confirm the message, you are saved. If you reject the message, and because of the rejection of the truth, you know what you are doing is destroys from within, but because of your whims, because of your egoistic desires, because of your pride, false pride, you cannot submit to it. How can I, as the chieftain, as the leader of the society, follow a shepherd who was nobody? How can I be under his guidance? Come on. This false pride, but he knows what he hears is really true from within. If they didn't know the message, they would be comfortable with their life. Yeah, the Quran says, if we don't send a messenger to a people, we don't destroy these people. We don't really take these people to task of responsibility. The Quran says this. If we don't send a messenger, we don't really punish these people. It means they don't feel the pain of rejecting the truth because they are not aware of it. But these people will suffer a lot. They suffer a lot. That is the thing that we can experience within ourselves. If you know, for example, if you harm somebody by not knowing, without noticing, and you harm somebody, yes, you feel that something you did wrong, but you don't really feel the real pain of harming somebody knowingly. You don't feel it when you don't know that you harmed somebody, but you feel it when you know that you are harming somebody with no justification. The same thing goes with the same message. For example, in the Quran tells about the Pharaoh's story. In the same way, for example, in the Noah, the people of Noah, the flood really got the people and they were destroyed. They were sunk. The same flood, we have to be careful. The same flood saved Noah and his followers on the ship ark. This analogy is so obvious that the same message saves those people who are innocent with a good intention and submits to the truth. But same message destroys even more the heart, the feelings of the people. We have to understand and really not get lost in physical description of these people, saying that I don't know who they were. They rejected Noah's or Moses' message, and God destroyed them physically. But what is it to do with me? Why do you think God tells me this story, although he promises that he is not going to physically punish the people after the advent of the messenger of God, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him? We know that we are not going to be physically destroyed. That is the common promise. That is the promise from the Creator. I'm not going to destroy people anymore because everybody will feel it within themselves now. Because the Quran always keeps repeating that the message that God sent to the Prophet Muhammad, clear. Everything is clearly stated. Now you can accept it and feel the pleasant security, peaceful security in your life, or you can deny it and you know that you are denying it. The truth is not going to remain hidden anymore. So we will come to this point now. Okay, excuse me, what's happening? Okay, let me see. I just made a small mistake here. So we know that. I think this is very important. Every message from God does not give very physical explanation about the matters related to belief in ghaib, as the Quran says, in the things, the realities, they cannot be experienced within the conditions of this universe. Because this universe is a sign to the reality of the ghaib. So, but reality of the ghaib cannot be experienced within the universe if the ghaib was able to be experienced within the universe, then it wouldn't be ghaib. It wouldn't be, I cannot really unknown, ghaib, unknown, unseen. These are not unseen, unknown. These are not the right explanation of it, but the people choose these words because there is no other way to describe it. I'm not blaming anyone who uses the word unknown, unseen, for the word, translation of the word ghaib. I cannot blame them. No, I don't blame anyone anyways. So, but we should understand that ghaib means something cannot be observable, cannot be perceivable physically within the conditions of this universe, but they refer to it. Our classical example is what? For example, when I read a book, I can see the book, but the knowledge I extract from the book, although the letters are there, but the abstract knowledge, I can see it, but I can definitely experience it. I can definitely learn it. I cannot deny the information I receive from the book, but I cannot physically show it to you. It is impossible, but it is the reality. That's why we read the books. So even when you hear a speech, you get the meaning, but what you hear physically, what you experience, the wavelengths coming to your ear and doing some physical activities there, but the meaning you extract from this voice cannot be physically experienceable, if you like, if there is such a word in English. You cannot experience it. Exactly what the universe points to cannot be experienced physically, but human capacity, human consciousness definitely is sure such a thing exists, must exist. That is why ghaib, belief matters. Believing in God, believing in angels, the meaning of the universe, believing the message that God spoken to the prophet. We cannot see God is speaking to the prophets and they come here, sit in front of me, listen to me carefully, and I'm going to speak to you and the people will see it. There is no such thing because speech is not physical, it's an abstract notion. God is definitely not a physical being. An absolute being cannot be presented within the physical world. Physical world cannot present the capacity of the physical world, the absolute being. So, existence of the eternal, physical existence of the eternal life. I know such thing must happen because of my feelings, always desire it, and it is with me. So the one who gave me these feelings must satisfy it because it is a promise. It is a promise from the Creator that such an existence will definitely take place. It is a promise. So I am the witness of this promise. I am living with it. But can I experience the physical existence of the temporary creation? It's a transient creation here. No, there is no temporariness in this world. No, I'm sorry, not temporary, permanent. I'm sorry, it's a horrible mistake. Just opposite. The permanent existence. This world is transient, subject to change continuously. And they are transient, going away, leaving us behind. But the existence of the permanent creation, permanent life, cannot be describable within the conditions of this universe. That's why it's ghaib. But we know that something must really happen. There are signs everywhere. So, Quran and the revelation in general speaks mainly I'm saying, about belief matters. That is why belief matters cannot be presented to us in physical terms. Examples, signs are given in physical terms, but the meaning that the signs refer to, point to, cannot be presented to us in physical terms. That is why always all messages of God, not the Quran only, but the Quran as well, with no exception, uses the explanations, uses metaphors, parables, allegories, similes, metonymies, analogies, symbols, figurative speeches, idioms, tropes, tropical meanings, and the practical life of the people who lived in the past, but their suffering or their happiness are told us through this the practical lives of the people, how they are destroyed physically. From there we have to take what? As a metaphor, as a figurative speech, as analogies, as symbolic teachings. We have to take them. It is the nature of revelation. Within the conditions of this universe, revelation must speak to me through these, if you like, literature arts or literature elements, if you like, allegories, similes, metonyms, metaphors, parables, symbols. Do you understand that if a physical description is given to us, how the denial is horrible? What we have to do now? We have to take it as an analogy, as an allegorical teaching, as a parable for us. But it doesn't mean that God says Moses. No, but there was no such people. I don't know. There is somebody, Moses. I don't know. I cannot prove it. But since the Creator tells me this event took place physically, I take it just because I understand the teachings of the Quran is by God, and God is not going to cheat me with giving an example which did never occur in the world, saying that it occurred. It says, yeah, history. It tells me this history, but again, I'm repeating this one very important principle. I have to take it for my own inner experience. Test it within my inner world. I'm trying to avoid spiritual word. People who say, oh, it is a sophistic interpretation. No, it's a reality. God says, I'm going to tell you at the very beginning of the chapter Yusuf, I am going to tell you a story. He says it's story. Qasas, stories. Qissa is the singular, qasas is the plural. So qissa means story. And it is for the people who question, who investigate. Question what? Investigate what? I'm not investigating what happened to Yusuf. I don't know who he is. But I am investigating the my life experiences, and how can I extract lessons from them? How can I learn anything from them? If I wonder about it, for example, suddenly this morning I woke up and something happened. But this thing should not be a weird thing, unaccustomed thing should happen to me. No, I woke. I felt I was tired when I went to sleep. Now I am fresh. And I see the sky is getting lighter. It means something is happening. Yes, we are accustomed. It doesn't attract my attention, but we have to pay attention to it. So we shouldn't lose ourselves. Oh, every day it happens in this way. But why? How? They say the earth is revolving. What? This huge lump of the globe of earth is revolving around itself? How? But don't take it simply saying that it's a physical law. What do you mean by physical law? The physical law means they experience that the world is revolving around itself and around the sun at the same time. I don't know, there are many movements that the earth is involved in. So how come that it is arranged in this way? Perfectly working, especially as the Quran mentions several times moon. You see the moon, how perfectly it is showing us the bright side and dark side, how it is changing. It means the relationship between the earth and the sun and the moon is perfectly, consciously measured and arranged. How a person cannot wonder about its reality? How come that it's arranged? Can it be the accident? Can it be an accident? How come? We have to question. So if you question, God says you will experience many things in your life, and I'm going to tell you in the form of a story. If you see what is happening behind it, how God is arranging everything for you. So this is an example. I am telling you what happened to one of the human beings that I created in the past, who is called Yusuf, sorry. I'm Yunus as well, but in this story, Yusuf. Yeah, everything unexpected. His father, his brothers, and thrown into as a child, into a well, and taken away, becoming a slave, and sold as a slave, and then imprisoned, and was subject to the assault of another person. And then he was able to approach the king through interpreting the dreams, etc., whatever, and the king, whoever there, doesn't matter, whoever it is, doesn't matter really. So he became the main figure in the administration of a foreign country. He was an immigrant. So it is possible. Look from slavery to replace the king, if you like. To replace the king. It is possible. You can go through all these different stages of life. If you wonder, take this example, take this parable, take this story as an example. See how God is arranging and putting you through all these different aspects of life, experiences, so that you will understand that it is deliberately arranged by the one who created you in order to educate your feelings under any kind of life experiences, under any kind of life experience that you cannot imagine. A slave becoming replacing the king, really, functionally. How? Somebody is insulted by another person, and because of this, innocently put in prison and get out of the prison, taken out of the prison, and prove that you are not innocent, and then you become the chief executor of a certain state as an immigrant, stranger. It is, one of them was in Canaan, the other one is in Egypt. Completely different culture, completely different nation, different language, different culture, but it was possible. It was possible under the surveillance of God. It is life experience. There are other examples in the same. Moses' example. Every kind of life conditions you can see in Moses. So you can see some sympathy in one or two and more instances in his life and apply it to your life experiences, saying that this is how God arranges life for me in order to educate myself. Train my feelings to get closer to God. But be careful. It's not accident. Nothing is accident. That's why in the Quran said, we did this to Yusuf, to Moses, to Jonah, whatever, Yunus, or Noah, whatever it is, Jesus, Muhammad, we did. We provide. People, we protected, we provided, we tested, etc. Why? Everything is arranged by God. We have to take it seriously and try to find a way that I can train myself, my feelings, educate my feelings, so that I will become aware that everything is arranged by God. So we understand the mention of these physical beings like Junud, like Fir'aun, like Thamud mentioned here, but the Quran is full of all these examples. We have to understand how we are going to experience some, all, or some of these life examples. So, the last verse that on the screen now, yet still the disbelievers persist in denial. Although these examples are given to them so that they will take it into heart and experience within their own feelings, but still they keep and persist in denying the message. For what? I don't know. What benefit they get? I don't know. I don't know. If someone denies that there is no creator, what benefit this person gets in his feelings as human beings. In the physical side, they may eat better food, but it is transient. You eat it and it disappears. Gone. You cannot get it back again. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't enjoy our lives. No, we do, but we have to understand that this enjoyment is a present, a gift from our Creator. So we have to get to know our Creator through these life enjoyments, of course, or otherwise. Maybe some bad experiences we may have that we may not like it. We may label them as bad experiences, but this is life conditions that we are going through education, training, under every kind of experiences in our physical life. So let's move on. If there is no, let me see if there is anyone wants to ask or comment, reject, challenge. I spoke a lot. I know I continuously speak. So, all right. No one? Okay. We can move to the next one then. So I see a microphone is moved. If anybody wants to say, raise hand or just open your mic and speak.
Imam Ali, Brother Ali, I wanted to just, what came to the ayah which came to my mind when you were saying about the Moses, when he was crossing the river and he was saved by it, and Pharaoh was drowned in the same water. So just before the halakha, my husband was telling me about someone in India who he has been talking to, and he feels that that person criticizes Quran a lot. So he referred the same thing to him, like he was saying, he was just talking to me and telling the same thing, that Allah says in the Quran that he can guide people, like people can get guidance from Quran, and people, if they are heedless, they can be they can be drifted away through the same message if you don't come with an open heart and open mind. So I think when you told that part of Pharaoh, Moses, that clicked, and I said, it's the same thing. The same thing can act as a barrier for you if you don't commit to it and open your heart to it.
Actually, there's a straightforward verse in the Quran says this. يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا. It's very simple. In a simple language, most of the people who get deviated because of the rejection becomes more and more obstinate because of people's attitude. Because from these examples that God gives in the creation in the Quran, and most of the people also, a lot of people also get guidance from it, depending on your attitude, depending on your expectations, depending on your stand. Yeah, that is, as you said, thank you for experience, sharing your experience with us, and that is absolutely correct, inshallah. Okay? So, وَاللَّهُ مِنْ وَرَائِهِمْ مُحِيطٌ. What does it mean? And God encompasses them from every side without their notice. It means encompasses them from every side. Because when someone denies, and denies that denies God, denies hereafter, of course, denies the message of the revelation or the prophetic messages, what happens? The person himself, within himself, puts himself in such a position that he cannot get out of his the pain, grief of his denial. Everywhere is covered up. You cannot say, for example, I deny, but tomorrow I will be happy, or at night I will be happy, because your feelings are with you always. And whatever your feelings feel, you cannot get out of it. That's our reality. You cannot get out of your own feelings. You try to ignore them. You try to forget them. That is called negligence. You can try. It is possible to try, but at the same time, you cannot get out of it because you may temporarily not feel it. So there is no direction that you may find a way of escape. That's what the Quran says.
We don't hear you, Brother Ali. Are you muted?
Get out of it. Inshallah. Okay. So, thank you, Alia. Somebody wrote something. So, Bayn al-Quran al-Majid. Yeah, this is obvious. Definitely. The glorious speech, reading, if you like, depending on from which perspective you look at the revelation. If you look at the revelation as coming from God, it is a speech. If you look at the revelation from your perspective, what you do now, you read, you listen. So both of them are valid. So this is definitely a glorious. It means bright. Nothing is obscure that you cannot understand. It completely, clearly, straightforward speaks to you, to me, to my feelings. Nothing ambiguous in it. We understand this, but don't confuse this. We call it fiqh matters. It means practical side of the teachings of the Quran. It is very, very, 3% of the Quran is allocated to this part. The others are all related to our feelings. 3 or 5, some people say 5, some people say, depending on how you see the verses actually. So some verses talk about the physical side, but at the same time, teaching the feelings as well. So a very small portion, it doesn't mean that it is not significant. It is significant. For example, your body is significant for you. You are not saying that I'm a human being, so I don't care my body. No, you have to. That's why the Quran says, okay, you have to care your spiritual side 95%. 5% you have to spend your physical side as well. What should I do in this physical world? Physically, what should I do physically? Pray, fast, physically. But 90% of these activities are directly related to your feelings. Prayer, of course. Your body moves and turns to a certain direction and moves this way or another way, bowing and prostrating, etc., sitting, standing up. But the purpose of prayer includes the body movement, correct, but at the same time, the purpose of prayer is directly related to your spiritual experience. As the spiritual experience tells you that you are in front of the absolute being, and you are speaking to the absolute being, expressing your feelings to him through his language. As a respect of his language, as a respect of his being your Lord, your owner, you speak to him with his language in the prayer, during the prayer. So you taught me this, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So I am using this phrase, and presenting it back to you, saying that you taught me this and I confirm it. I confirm it in the way I also speak to you by repeating your word. I agree with it. I am happy with it. It's a beautiful way of communicating, conversing with the Creator. So 90% of prayer is spiritual experience, 5% is bodily experience. You understood that. Uh, That is why we shouldn't get involved. But there are some ambiguous words. For example, God says, uh, don't kill. Okay, what shall I do? First of all, the prophet himself involved in war conditions. But the God says, don't kill. I don't know whether a prophet killed somebody or something, but he was the commander in chief, if you like. He was just really logistically controlling the army. I don't know. I don't remember any narration saying that the prophet killed this mushrik with his own sword. I don't see it, but it doesn't mean that killing in the battlefield while the physical world is happening is prohibited. He encouraged, and the Quran also said, prophet encouraged the people, because people will say, no, God says don't kill, so how can I kill now the person who's attacking me? What shall I do? So give them the relaxed understanding that they have to physic, physically defend themselves if there is a physical attack. Otherwise, don't kill. So certain conditions needs to be explained. Then that is ambiguous. Which conditions? What the conditions of the war are? These are to be discovered from the practices of the prophet, and it needs speciality, expertise. So I'm not the expert about this subject. I haven't studied it. I haven't investigated the whole life of the prophet in details, and I don't know all the revelations arrived to me from the prophet. Pardon, narrations. I was going to say narrations. Uh, I'm not aware of them. So what I have to do, I have to follow the expertise. Like when the matter is practical bodily problem, what I do for my bodily problem, if I have a bodily problem in pain somewhere and problem in one of my members of my body, I go to the hospital. Whatever the doctor advised me, I do it. I don't see any harm in it. But about my spiritual training, I have to be an expert on it as much as I can. So I cannot imitate anyone. I cannot go to a, if you like, a doctor saying that, how can I make, or give me a tablet or something and a pill in order to feel comfortable in my spiritual life. It is impossible. That is that is uh, that is the point that we have to be very careful. That the Quran is not majid, it's glorious, it's really bright, clearly explaining everything. I cannot say that. So, في لوح محفوظ. Let's come to this last verse. في لوح محفوظ. Now, what is lawh? It is inscribed or protected on an imperishable mahfuz, protected tablet. What is this tablet? Now, I am going to, inshallah, share you with some verses related to this tablet matter. Now, let's come and see the translation of it. We don't have much time. But he said, Moses, I have raised you above other people by giving you my message and speaking to you hold on to that. My message and speaking to you. So hold on to what I have given you. Be one of those who give thanks. So it says here, وَكَتَبْنَا لَهُ فِي الْأَلْوَاحِ. So they are they are written, inscribed on the tablets. So in the following verse, we wrote everything for him in the tablets, which taught and explained everything, saying, hold on to them firmly and urge your people to hold fast to their excellent teachings. I will show you the end of those who rebel. It means I will demonstrate you how you feel very comfortable, relax in your life if you believe. If you don't, how horrible you will feel. If you rebel, how horrible you will feel. So God sent this message, but they are inscribed, they are written in the tablets. So we understand that the tablet is where the speech of God, revelation, is written, recorded. So we have to understand that. For example, human memory is a tablet. The memory of your computer, your iPhone, telephone, is a tablet. It is written. You can protect that. So this protected tablet means no one can ever change the literal, uh, if you like, literal corpus of the revelation. It is protected. But at the same time, how about its meaning? Its meaning also protected. How? No one can challenge it. No one can come up with a counter argument and destroy the argument of this revelation. It is protected in the tablet, but this tablet is firmly and securely protected. It means the Quran. I think we have to be, we don't have much time, but I'll try to wrap up as quick as possible. We have to understand, for example, this verse again, here is a very commonly known verse. Everybody said no one is going to change the Quran, no one is going to destroy the Quran because it is going to be protected by God. Now, that is correct. It is we ourselves, we sent down the Quran, and we ourselves are, it is guardians, protectors. We are going to do it. What does it mean? Of course, it is easy to understand. Now, let's go back our original verse. Here it is, fi lawhin mahfuz. Now, imperishable, not this undestroyable tablet. It is there. Now, it has two meanings. Of course, physically, it means the corpus, it means the wordings of the Quran are not going to be destroyed. It is everywhere, anyway, written. That's one side of it. Some scholars say, you might have heard of it, it is preserved in Lawh Mahfuz, which is called, again, taken from this Quranic verse, somewhere in Allah's knowledge. Of course, this is absolute. No one can reach them and destroy them. But some people say it means this. Well, of course it is. If it is God's word, definitely it is God's knowledge. And God's knowledge is absolute. No one can get into it and mess up with it. It is obvious, isn't it? I mean, you feel comfortable about it. But it is more than this. God says, I am going to protect it. It means physically it is going to be protected. You know that nowadays no one can change the real written form of the Quran in the recitation anymore. It is written every tablets. The people memorized it. It is written in the tablets of minds, memories. It is written now in the form of books. It is everywhere. That is one thing I think proved now that no one can really destroy it anymore. But even deeper meaning. There is a deeper meaning that God says, I am going to protect this book. It is guarded by me. It is guarded by me. It, it doesn't only mean the physical protection of the vocabulary of the Quran, language of the Quran, the recitation of the Quran, maybe physical experience of the Quran in the form of books. Yeah, that is one thing. But there is deeper meaning, I feel, that the Quran is bringing a message to human beings, bringing a message to
Brother Ali, we lost your voice. We just heard you to saying Quran is bringing a message to human beings, but we did not hear after that.
sorry.
We lost your voice. You said Quran was bringing a message to human beings, but then we lost your voice after that.
How about now? Do you hear me?
Yes, mashallah, we do.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. If something technical happens, please, as you did, remind me. Or if you want to speak also, I'm respectful to our participants to say anything they want. So we have to understand that, for example, new discoveries found out that what Quran says is wrong. No. It is really wrong. Everybody understand that it is contradictory to reality that we experience in the universe. Whoa. Quran guarantees that this aspect of the Quran, the meaning, the message of the Quran cannot be challenged. It is protected by the infinite, absolute knowledge of the Quran, which this absolute knowledge encompasses from the beginning of existence to the end of existence, which is there is no such end of existence. But end of this universe is different from end of existence. For example, end of this universe, it means that existence will continue in the form of eternal life, permanent existence, which is called in the language of the Quran, eternal, permanent. After resurrection, continue, the creation will continue because God's power is absolute. God cannot say, "Oh, I'm tired of creating, and now I'm going to stop it now." And also, God's knowledge is absolute. So God challenges anybody saying that you will study the universe. Of course, human beings cannot get information apart from the universe. We can only get information from the universe using our already created feelings. We are also a part of the universe. You see the logic now? So you can study the universe. What you are studying while you are discovering what the universe, order of the universe has in it. So, and using it, utilizing it, is the thing I created for you. The thing I created for you. And the Quran says again, إِلَّا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ. So don't think that the one who creates doesn't know. Is it possible? I am creating, but I don't know what I am doing. It's impossible to imagine such a thing. So, what is to be discovered is the act of creation of God, and it is already within the order of the universe. It is already within the knowledge of the creator of the universe. So, there is no way to come up with an counter argument saying, no, there is no creator. We found something in some parts or some corners of the universe. No, in some corners of the, subatomic world, that there is a power, a thing, which is a power to create. The Quran says, no, it is impossible. I know what I am saying. I am the one who creates the universe. I am the one who is speaking in the Quran as the one who creates the universe. So we understand that love means also not only it is physical protection, but it is the absolute knowledge of the Creator manifested itself in the revelation. So we understand that. We understand that Quranic message definitely is not going to be challenged. But as far as our practical life is concerned, we shouldn't worry that people study the universe, find out something, read the, I don't know, the remnants or relics of the previous creations, remained in the universe again, studying that and saying that, oh, in the past, there was a creator within the universe, did this and that. They cannot really, they study the fossils, again, created by God. How the fossil exists within the order of the universe, which is already known to the creator of the order of the universe. So we understand that Quran cannot be challenged. Within it is physical existence, as we call it Mus'haf, book of registered something in my mind, in my computer, whatever. It's registered. What is computer? Again, I can say it is a lawh, as the Quran says. It is a lawh, it is a tablet where the Quran is written. So the memory card of the computer is a lawh. So it is written there too. Why? Memory card is taken from the universe. It's a part of the universe. It is taken from the order of the universe. It is discovered at a certain time. It wasn't known before, but it was within the order of the universe, and people only discovered it. Of course, we are asked to discover. The more we discover, the more we become aware of the knowledge of the Creator. Oh, He has created this order of the universe with this capacity as well. Wow, I just found out this. Do you understand? It is the more discoveries happened, the more our appreciation, our wonder, our amazement we have. So we have to encourage scientific discoveries. Although the people may interpret it in the negative way, that is their problem. They will suffer from it. Wallahu min waraihim muhit. So they cannot escape from their problems of their denial. Their life is meaningless, purposeless. There is no eternal life. Death is the frightening thing waiting for them. They are really, most of them are really afraid of being alone, thinking about their reality. Most of the people are workaholic, so they are afraid of retiring. First, they want to retire, but as the time comes, they say, I have to keep myself busy with it. Or if someone is materially, financially better off, they keep themselves going here and there and keeping themselves busy. But still, wherever they go, they take their heart. Whatever they do, their feelings are with them. They cannot get out of their feelings. Wallahu min waraihim muhit. God encompasses them from every side, all aspects. It means as long as I exist within the conditions of this universe, my feelings, my heart are with me. I cannot get out of it. Whatever I feel, it will be with me. I may try to forget it by alcohol, drinking alcohol, taking drugs, etc., but still it is with me. That is the problem of the materialist scientists interpret what they found in terms of natural sequences, cause and effect sequences. But that is their problem. Whatever they found out, for example, when I have my telephone and speak to my friends, and as we are now really having a conversation, I understand how perfect the order of the universe is. We are discovering all these things that we are right now, you and I, are experiencing is discovered, which was hidden and is discovered from the order of the universe. It means knowledge of God. So the one who speaks in the Quran is the one who knows what he is creating. So he is comfortable to say that 1400 years ago, we are guaranteeing, we are the guardians of the Quran. No one can challenge it. No one can come up with a real counter argument and bring an evidence. Though, of course, human beings will bring an evidence only from the universe, bring an evidence which will contradict with my knowledge, with my speech, which is now the Quran, before some other revelations. They can change the physical side of it, but not the content of it. So, Quran, we have to understand this. This Lahu Mahfuz, it means protection of the revelation from both sides, physical and the meaning. Thank you very much. Now this person is insisting, so I have to stop. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alim al-hakim.